No, it is January the 4th, 2025, and I've been instructed to be a bit of a Paul Revere earlier. Just given the orders by the man, Alex Jones, my general, all right, letting me know about operations. I'm gonna see if I can get this is all newfangled technology to me. Let's see if I can get it all worked out. See what if I do this. All right. I just want to show y'all something, and this is in reference to this bombing took place over in Las Vegas, some like a Trump Tower, a Cybertruck. Most people heard about it. The reason I bring it up is because, like I said, I was kind of ordered to be a Paul Revere on it and tell what it is that I know, which isn't even that much. I don't even know that much about this incident, but it's looking to me from the cursory research that I done that this incident is actually all effed up, dude. Before I begin breaking down what it is that I know about this incident, shout out to my man El Nino, my brother. He was talking earlier about removing Christmas lights and also kind of to like, as he said it, kind of to make way for what he called inauguration vibe. An inauguration's about to take place in America, allegedly. To which I said, I don't think it's going to be that easy, more or less. He pretty much agreed with me because all sort of shenanigans going down. All sort of shenanigans been going down, but the shenanigans I'm looking at right here are impressive. All right, impressive, and all what I'm looking at points to the fact that no matter what a boomer thinks, this inauguration ain't just gonna happen. It's gonna be a lot that happens between now and then, and it's gonna be quite dastardly. Now, as I've kind of seen before and witnessed too, and a lot of people have on the internet for years and years, there are situations that play out that are mad questionable, and it seems as though the real narrative and what actually happened gets obscured from public view, and we're giving some other type of story, and we're just supposed to believe it whole hog and shut up about it, and you're a conspiracy theorist and all this. All right, so in reference to our guy, I want to show some things about what I know. And I haven't dug too deep. But here, hold on. Matthew Livelsberger. We type that in views, and I'm using uh the Brave browser here. I'm going to be using also Chrome here in a second to get different news. I mean, Brave browser has its own little news tab and stuff to see what it is they put up. Now, Brave is not responsible for the news and likely not even the curating of the news, but the most popular things on the internet are going to pop up first, likely in the news tab, right? So when we're looking at them, I want to point out something that's very typical, very obvious, but really it's not the biggest point of contention or whatever. It's not the biggest things to focus on. Like I'll give an example. To make sure that we got the DNA back from this guy? Are we sure 100%? Because a lot of people were not. A lot of people who's in authority in the local area were not sure. Of course, we'd want to find out these details. Is this the person who we think it is? Because we all think it's Matthew Livelsberger. I have not exactly received confirmation on that yet. All right, but with the media, always because they're I don't know, by design, they're looking for sensationalism. They're not looking to report the news. Not at all. Not what's most important. What they want to do is sensationalize. And a lot of what they do, what they've been doing over the years, is basically painting you as guilty in the public eye from Jump Street, no matter how much investigation needs to be done, still. So what they're going to jump on is motives, basically. And thing is, oh, they sure do have a lot. Like, look, Matthew Livelsberger left a diary of activity. Yeah, that's what people do. People do that a lot. All right. Perhaps he did, criticizing the government before dying. All right. Soldier struggles began. Check this out, New York Times. It says soldier struggles began. Get this before the Las Vegas truck, the Tesla truck explosion. Nurse says. You're here telling me that he was struggling even before blown up into smithereens. That even before then, wow, that's news. That's good to know. New Orleans releases most names of victims killed in the attack. Of a different attack has nothing to do with it, supposedly over there in New Orleans. They're talking about New Orleans. They're not even talking about Las Vegas. I typed in Matthew Livelsberger. I don't know why I'm getting New Orleans right here in the New York Times, but lots of stuff. All right. I actually there was a tab that I already had open, but apparently it closed. Let me see if I can find the story that I had earlier up in another tab. Um, about his wife. You see, Matthew Livelsberger is currently married, actually. Well, the real Matthew Livelsberger, if that's who was exploded, and it could very well be him exploded in the Cybertruck. So they want to give motive, like in some of these articles, they'll write about how Matthew Livelsberger over here was depressed. In this article right here, they're talking about that his Livelsberger's wife broke up with him only days before the explosion. Alright. And over here they say, who is Matthew Livelsberger? Cybertruck bomber Matthew Livelsberger's wife anti-Trump? Oh my gosh, was there a riff and she was anti-Trump? And this led her to breaking up with him and stuff, man. They just couldn't, it was irreconcilable. And she broke up with him and stuff, and then he lost it because he was in extreme depression. Actually, no, this is Matthew Livelsberger's first wife. That's not his current wife, right? That's his first wife, in which they were divorced a while back. But if you go to an article like this, you'll see see, we're trying to establish a motive, and that's the whole point. It's not because they want to make sure that you're seen as guilty in the public before giving you any sort of hard evidence on anything to include whether or not this is Matthew Livelsberger in the damn truck. Perhaps it has been confirmed. I haven't heard the confirmation. But they're talking about this Green Beret and he had argued with his wife. See, some of the articles talking about he was depressed, he was on tour and this and that. We're talking about like some Delta super knowledgeable soldier, a Green Beret, all right, active duty, in fact, had argued with his wife, so he was already depressed. He had argued with his wife after she had told him that she suspected he had been cheating. Now, according to reports that I've seen, I was going to say the same thing down here. Is that's because apparently what happened. Okay, was it depression? We're gonna look into it more here in these different articles. Was he depressed? Here's a scenario where they're trying to paint a motive. Oh, she had suspected him of cheating and so broke up with him the day after Christmas. Right? The day after Christmas. She decides, oh, she perhaps she just found out that he had been getting a little something on the side. She breaks up with him. Oh, what does that mean? Livelsberger loses it? You know, that's implied, right? Because they're talking about it was days before the explosion. So that is implied. That has something to do with it. This Delta Green Beret stud over here, dude, with the guns and the skiing and all sort of stuff. He was suffering from depression that he just couldn't get over. And then when his wife had broke up with him because suspected cheating, he had somehow just lost it and lost all hope. All right. They got this guy down here, man. This is, I don't even know. We're going to get off of this, dude, because I'm not going to. That's kind of freaky to look at. But, all right. The motive that's established, right? This is his motive. These are the reasons why in which he decided to go blow himself to smithereens with fire. It was supposed to be terroristic and it was supposed to hurt a whole bunch of other people. But however, he failed at doing that because turns out it's a cyber truck and it's not really going to blow out. It's going to blow up. But you figure if he's Delta Force, Green Beret, knowledge and explosions and stuff like that, he probably would have known that. You figure he would have known that. For whatever reason, he decides to shoot himself before the explosion. That doesn't make any sense. All right. He's depressed. Let me tell you something. This guy's depressed. Let me bring it back up. Matthew Livelsberger. And you've probably seen all this, but I just want to reaffirm stuff. This guy's depressed and stuff. But I just want to let you know, a lot of these pictures, first of all, he's checking out cool stuff. He likes smiling and doing selfies. This is a depressed guy. He's saying out here's his first wife, a nice little thing he's got right there. But, you know, here's another girl he's dated. Nice, another little thing, good little thing right there and stuff, man. This guy over here, he's depressed. He's going to lose it. That's an ex-girlfriend right here. And we're going to hear more from her before I get up out of here. That's not his wife, all right? His wife is a different lady, in which I think they showed a picture. Here's a young baby. He's so depressed. He only had a 1 year old daughter, and he's so depressed that he blew himself to smithereens with fireworks in a pretty much retarded fashion, if I can say so. All right. So I don't want to look at whatever's going on right here, and I'm sorry about that. Whatever the hell this is supposed to be, I, I'm sorry about that. But so people are investigating the Cybertruck. Look how it's blown to smithereens. It's so awesome that they found his like military ID. Get this off of my screen, dude. I swear. They just want this on my screen, dude. So it was all blown to smithereens and stuff, man. He had a firearm that was blown to smithereens. His military ID and passport were like in pristine condition, though. I mean, it goes on and on. You see that? The military ID, damn near brand new, damn near. All right, so all this stuff, right? They were trying to put a motive behind this. And it doesn't have a picture of his wife, but his current wife happens to be a blonde lady. I've seen pictures of her, and it's like pulling teeth to try to get a picture of her, apparently. So I'm not even gonna worry about that. Let's just suffice it to say, dude, in all these pictures, I've seen so many pictures of Matthew Livelsberger surrounded by ladies, adoring ladies and stuff like that. He must have been in some big, big depression that way. He just had a 1 year old daughter. He must have been just really suffering with depression. Right. His wife accused him of a little something on the side, in which he probably got. I don't know whether or not, but it's like, yeah, it's because of his extreme depression, and he wants to end it all. Right. I guess this is pretty important to bring up, this Marjorie Taylor Greene thing. All right, and I want to bring it up because there's on this Newsweek article, they even have a screenshot of an email that was put up to the X.com and is posted by a man named Sean Ryan. And it's like a manifesto. All right. It's like, oh, they got all sort of motives for this guy. They don't really add up, but they're trying to like say he's depressed, say his wife just told him to get out. So he was like immediately within days, this Green Beret loses all hope and wants to blow himself to smithereens. All right. And wants to hurt other people, but fails miserably at doing it. I don't know why. All right. So in this manifesto, it's coming at a different angle. He's talking weird stuff. He's saying dumb weird stuff about how to verify that it's actually him. Like for example, he states that his first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6. That's for verification of his identity. It's not like this information could be attained by anybody else on earth, right? That's to verify who he is and stuff. And then he goes on to talk all this weird stuff. He's like, "Oh, those drones you seen the other day, that's a major security risk." You can see this on X what he's talking about. How China has conducted these drones all over and doing this stuff, and then and whatnot. He's saying like that we're at extreme national risk. Mind you, all these things at the same time. He's suffering back and forth with depression. He's knocking down ladies and getting skirts everywhere he goes. Um, he's giving birth to little babies and stuff. He's running around knowing that China has a national security risk that they're imposing upon us. He desperately wants to warn us about this and admit that he had something to do with covering up a previous incident over there in Afghanistan. He, quote, wanted to run to Mexico, but apparently, I guess, decided not to. He's like, dude, do I run to Mexico? Or do I blow myself to smithereens? I just really can't figure it out. And he left this on X, right? Oh, Taylor Grant ambiguous way says this changes everything. Okay. So, but the thing is, stating this changes everything, as they put right here, it says it's unclear what Green exactly meant in her post. What does she mean by that? It's changed everything. What does she mean? She previously took to X to share her thoughts on the incident. And this is what I want to share, especially from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Before Livelsberger's body was identified to be inside the charged Cybertruck, the Congresswoman wrote this, and I don't know if this is like all over the news. In fact, I bet you it's not. She wrote, increasingly obvious. It was obvious and then became increasingly obvious that the terrorist attacks in New Orleans, which should be totally like unrelated, and Las Vegas Trump Hotel are in fact organized and connected. All right. So if Marjorie Taylor Greene was wrong about this, which all of the news is trying to say that this is not happening, what she's saying it all in public and she's saying it very confidently. So if all these other news publications who want to tell you the motive, they want to tell you this and that, why he's guilty, um, they they don't want you to be thinking that it's organized and connected for any reason. Yeah, that's actually not good. When she says this changes everything, I don't know what she means by that. But it seems as though she knows a whole bunch. She's found out a whole bunch that obviously we don't know yet. All right. So she does also say, while we wait for more details, I like to point out that it's insane To fund our enemies, Johnson, Schumer, McConnell gave $9 billion to Hamas, and Biden's given $10 billion to Iran in 2024. That's pretty insane. Pretty insane stuff. What does she mean they're connected? What does she mean this changes everything? What I think that it means is this manifesto, if you were inorganic, number one. Number one. Number two, it's meant to cause panic, always warning about China and stuff. Whoever wrote this is warning about it's supposed to cause panic. Oh, he knew too much, and so he just couldn't. He succumbed to the pressure. I doubt it. So, without being too long-winded, here's what I wanted to point out as well. First of all, none of that makes sense. None of any of this makes sense off the top. All right. But also, what I wanted to point out is a couple of things. Like, number one, Tim Kennedy reflects on time with Cybertruck explosion suspect. Get this, suspect is not confirmed at all. Right? Matt Livelsberger, none of this makes sense, boy. None of it. Don't make no kind of sense. All right. It's okay. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is so damn insane that she's spouting off gobbledygook or whatever. She's in the government. That's bad. You got Tim Kennedy, he's a damn war hero, and he's saying this don't make any sense at all. It's interesting. I don't even know what that alarm's for. I think I put the snooze on it, man. How do I turn this alarm off? I have no idea. All right. Anyways, man, I'm not worried about that. Hold on. So Tim Kennedy, he reflects on the fact that this don't make no sense. All right. Let me bring up something else real quick too. What Matthew Livelsberger here? Check this out. Here's an article, and it's actually hidden in the article. I typed the keywords here. Hold on one second. Let's get this right. I can't get it right. Hold on. Matthew Livelsberger texted X before Cybertruck explosion at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. All right. So well, here, I'll tell you what I did after we read a key part of this article. First of all, it's talking about how he was texting her. And this was in the days leading up to this whole thing. Remember, he's like desperately depressed. Remember, he wants to warn us about China and stuff like that, but he can't wait to end himself, even though he has a 1-year-old daughter to protect. And he's a Delta Green Beret and all that. None of it makes sense. All right. I rented a Tesla Cybertruck, he texted. And this is Matthew Livelsberger. It's the shit. He texted her at 9 in the morning. Oh yeah, that must be like a very depressed guy. He's driving around Tesla Cybertrucks, texting ladies that are very like fond of him and stuff like that. He's majorly depressed. He continued to text her until New Year's Eve, sending photos and music videos of the vehicle. Because you're gonna send photos and music videos of your vehicle leading up to the very moments of you exploding yourself into smithereens. Because that makes sense. Check this out. I feel like Batman or Halo. He texted her at 9:07 a.m. on Sunday. Because this are the words of a very depressed man who can't wait to end it. It sounded like a conversation between old friends and blah, blah, blah. All right. But it also mentions that he's married now and has a baby daughter. All right. Meanwhile, the ex-girlfriend, she's a single mother who works 12-hour shifts. I don't know how she spends time with her baby, but she does. All right. So he's talking about all sort of stuff as though he has a bright future. Right? Like none of it makes sense, right? How fast is it? She's asking about the Cybertruck. He texted ungodly fast. And so I've heard from everybody with these Cybertrucks is they pick up speed like you have no idea, like crazy fast. Authorities in Las Vegas on Thursday said Livelsberger, a Green Beret, shot himself which that doesn't make any sense. Before this whole thing exploded, the Tesla Cybertruck, and that didn't make any sense. Even though he's a Delta Green Beret and stuff, and he really honestly should know better, but it didn't make sense. So here's what caught my eye. Remember, like, here's the headline by the Gazette, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna blame everybody. The Gazette, you write a headline that says Matthew Livelsberger texted X before Cybertruck Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. That was your headline. All right, let me take you down into your own article. Let me write to you. Let me let you know what your headline should have been. It's in your own damn article. This is a man's ex-girlfriend. How many of y'all have it out like that? That one of your ex-girlfriends will describe you as the kindest man that she ever knew in her life, right? I want to put that as my headline. Ex-girlfriend, this is Matthew Livelsberger, kindest man she ever met in her life. I don't know, you don't want to talk about that. It's in your own damn article, right? So, to kind of wrap it, what I want to say is that Matthew Livelsberger does seem like he was set up. Yeah, we need to investigate more to find out whether or not he was set up. But in the meantime, get this: there's going to be an inauguration. A president is going to switch over. All right, and so you got to hope that's not calamity. Like this whole what's labeled as a terroristic event, completely and totally manipulated, and that's what's apparent. That's what it seems very apparent right now. You got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, yeah, these two things were heavily connected, and they shouldn't be, but they are. They're increasingly obviously connected, right? You got Tim Kennedy saying, none of this makes any sense. Matthew Livelsberger doesn't do this. You got an ex-girlfriend saying he's the kindest man I ever freaking knew. So, all right, it's kind of perfect because Matthew Livelsberger, he's like the big tough soldier, gonna save the day, save everybody. He's a white supreme, and you shouldn't trust him, right? It's meant to cause chaos as well. This guy, you can't trust this guy. How many Green Berets and stuff we got running big old white Supremes and brown Supremes and stuff? Can't wait to pop off and explode stuff in terroristic fashion because they're in extreme depression, even though none of it makes sense. And there's likely, besides the manifesto and besides certain little notes, there's probably no evidence anywhere to show that Matthew Livelsberger would ever, none of his relatives can believe it. It just doesn't make sense. Right. So, and, as I meant to mention earlier, it's a cyber truck. And as many people know, everything about a Cybertruck is being surveilled. And it would make sense that it's all being sent back to headquarters and it's recorded. Meaning, okay, if this was organic, like they're saying, it would make sense that up until the moment of being blown into smithereens, every moment of what Livelsberger was up to was recorded. We'll be able to see it. However, if it didn't take place the way that the news is saying it took place, well, then you have an obvious manipulated incident, as Marjorie Taylor Greene implied, which is connected to another obviously manipulated incident, which at least 10 people lost their lives in New Orleans. Oh, it just so happens to be perfect timing right before the inauguration, right? So to finish out this video, I wanted to play you a little clip of something because everything is very, very important. And this is maybe one of the most important things I can even think of right now. And it's talking about what we just talked about. the shenanigans, the chicanery, and what exactly that'll lead to. All right, so let me take it back. This will probably be good. Right here will probably be a good place to start. All right, just a couple minutes. Exactly, this is a big deal. Elon Musk runs with Donald Trump. There's no way to get away with this. All the shenanigans from before, the deep state or whatever you might call it, was able to weasel out of accountability. I don't see how it's even possible in this situation. I don't even see how it's possible that they're going to allow an inauguration. And let me just show you on how they plan to actually stop
there in D.C. I'm not saying it's going to happen by exposing it. It won't. Because the globalists, if something spotlighted to a big enough audience, won't do it. And we're reaching 30, 40, 50, 60 million people a day, depending on how much you share the links from Real Alex Jones. This is a team effort. This is history. We have the initiative. We've got the public waking up. People aren't asleep anymore. It's exciting. So clearly, as I predicted before he won, and I said after he won, is when they'd escalate the war with Russia, with ATACMS and Storm Shadows. They did it within 11 days, as I predicted. And they start hyping that Tom Homan's going to kill a bunch of migrants if Trump gets in. That's not true, but they could stage a false flag there. And so now this really ups the threat on the DEFCON with these two events happening and the subsequent cover-up and everything we've seen from the FBI. It's not terror. It is terror. He acted with others. No, now he didn't. Letting CNN into the supposed Muslim former army guy's place in his house. I mean, all of this is all the telltale signs of a psyop. And that signals they're planning something big in the next 16 days. Maybe it's on the 6th in 3 days. Maybe it's in 10 days. I don't know, but I've been predicting these exact movements, and now it's happening. So, folks inside the Trump operation are concerned about this. And if you want to get down to brass tacks, Elon Musk is concerned about this. And this information, this report you're about to see, was given to me yesterday because the point was made that I was the one that had been tracking and predicting this and that they're paying a lot of attention to it. And so they thought this would be the best place for you to see this information. So Trump wants you to have this. The Patriots want you to have this. Elon wants you to have this, and this was given to me to give to you because you are respected as the most educated, informed, hardcore patriots on Team Humanity. And this is understood to be the enemy's main move. And by exposing it, we hope to stop it, or God forbid they do some big attack. We are ahead of it in the narrative because they want a civil emergency. They want a national crisis, to have enough of a smokescreen to kill Trump or kill Trump and blame Iran. It's all on the table. And so this is a maximum alert right now. And now you're the Paul Revere's. I'm just a Paul Revere as well with a bigger microphone. You're being handed the ball here to get this report out, to take this report and go get the best parts of the first hour and a half where I laid it out, or what Jay said earlier was dead on. This needs 200 million views. Bill Gates has got a plan to ban beef, give you injections that cause a allergy to it. That report's got like 40 million views we put out. It needs 300 million. And I'm not joking when I say that. We've got the audience of activists. And when we get up to those must numbers of hundreds of millions of viewers, and when other people start doing that, it's game over. And we're very close to winning the info war. This gets seen by 200 million people. This gets seen by the governors and by Congress and by the good people that are compartmentalized in the intelligence agencies and the FBI. The globalists will pull the plug. And we've almost got Raskin and the people planning this. It looks like they've pulled it, but we're not sure they're not going to go ahead and roll their operation. Because that may have just been cleanup of operations they already had going, then when they thought they could steal it and put Kamala in and then blame Trump supporters for terror attacks. So to go ahead and get rid of those operations, they went ahead and just ran them as limited operations. That's probably what they did, but we're not sure. The signals are strong that they're backing down because they know they're beat, at least at this level, and that they just come back another day, they might have a chance. But there's other factions in there, and they may still go with it, or some of the wind-up toys they created, some of the operations they spun off, have a life of their own. So the president wants you to see this. The president wants you to share this. And I mean the real president, Donald John Trump. Here it is.
This is an emergency broadcast to all Americans. Political operatives have been working on a plan so insidious that if activated, it holds the power to destroy the United States from within. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states that any elected official that engages in insurrection or rebellion against the state may be denied their position. According to Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin, this plan will be activated on January 6, 2025.
So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in civil war conditions, all because...
Despite Donald Trump's acquittal on all charges of inciting insurrection, Democrats still claim Section 3 of the 14th Amendment allows them to declare Trump guilty through the court of public opinion.
I think that we successfully prosecuted him and convicted him in the court of public opinion and in the court of history.
Through relentless repetition and inflammatory rhetoric.
Trump is a fascist.
Literal Nazis.
Once you've convinced yourself that somebody is a Nazi, you can justify almost anything, including attacking their supporters.
Millions of Democrats have become so fearful of their fellow Americans that they feel justified in destroying them.
Are you suggesting that the entire Trump vote was racist and by racists?
I think, yes.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
If the architects of this insidious plan get their way, neighbors will turn against neighbors, brothers against brothers, sisters against sisters, and even parents against children. This is precisely what is needed to justify locking down our nation and enabling the rise of a police state.
We are closer to civil war than any of us would like to believe.
While we're busy fighting each other, behind the veil of a public emergency, what remains of our essential liberties will be eliminated. So, what is the solution? In this case, the wisest strategy to fighting these dark forces is by not fighting at all. Physically, that is. Other than acting upon our legal right to self-defense, we must never allow them to lure us into violence. The darker it gets, the brighter we must shine. Our light is their kryptonite.
All right, y'all. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I'm gonna be sharing that clip probably. It's going down, and the thing is, they can't afford for it to not overthrow, to not insurrect, to not have a coup by the January 20th deadline. They really can't afford not to instill all sort of chaos. All right, and then if for whatever reason we are able to make it to January the 20th, and Donald Trump, for example, hasn't been deleted himself. We're talking within a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. And these people are going to go ahead and create the same exact disastrous scenarios regarding migrants. Blame it on Tom Homan. They need to do all these things, right? In order to insurrect the way that they want to, right? They're putting their necks on the line to do it, to wrap them up and to start getting people, to start putting the kibosh on certain people, to do some cursory investigations of Cybertrucks and everything else Elon is privy to. You know that you're gonna get found out. This guy Jamie Raskin, you're publicly talking all sort of illegal mess, if I might say so. All the evidence is to be had. You can't have a Donald Trump come in with a DOJ that is at all on the same page as Donald Trump because y'all are all getting wrapped up and sewed up. Y'all are all cooked. Y'all are sincerely cooked all the way. You can't help but cook yourselves further. There's no way that you can let Donald Trump be the president in about 3 weeks. That's what's interesting. All right. And I'll holler at y'all later about whatever other developments.